Hey, squirrel bait. So, if you're like me, sometime throughout your day, you're going to have to take yourself a note. Whether you're a dungeon master trying to herd cats at a game table, or you're at work and you need to write a little something down to remember it later, or you're trying to make a handmade card for someone special, or you're trying to write you a love note went over that someone special. Sometime you're going to have to write. And there ain't nothing worse than writing down a note and then coming back to it later and not being able to read it. If it's worth, even if you're learning to play an instrument and you want to try your hand at writing a song, if it's worth doing right. And good handwriting is just like any other skill that requires putting pencil or pen to paper. It takes practice, it takes a little bit of patience, but I think it's a skill that everybody should have. I know in this modern day, handwriting has kind of been put to the wayside, but I think there's a lot of value in it. Very personal, and it's kind of a good way to put a little bit of your own personality in somebody else's hands. So you want to forego the text messages and try to do it the old fashioned way, you're going to have to put a little bit of work into it. So if you're wanting to learn cursive, any quick Google search is going to show you a chart kind of like this right here. I'm going to try put a chart here. I might fail. I don't know. But forgive the voice. I'm fighting. But it's time, if you're wanting to learn this, you probably ought to start practicing. And a good way to practice is just get yourself a sheet of scrap paper and just start writing down your letters, writing down sentences, and just take your time. Like, pay attention to how your pencil and how your pen, the pressure you apply. I mean, like I said, it's just like any other art form that requires putting ink or lead on paper. And so let's work our way through it a little. But as you can see, I wrote myself out a little test sentence here to make sure that my pen was going to write good. But we've got our cursive alphabet up in the corner. I'm going to try to put it up there anyway. Here-ish, maybe. Here-ish. So, this is just plain old drawing paper. You're going to want your paper to be at a slight angle to you. And that way, all of your letters get a nice even slant because you're going to be writing straight up and down along your line. So if we draw us a nice line, and we work our way through our alphabet here, you've got your capital A, which is usually, it's almost identical to your lowercase, which is, but it's dictated by your size. Like a lot of college ruled papers will have two lines that are fairly close together, like that, hopefully a little bit straighter. But your capital will take up your entire margin here, whereas your lowercase will take up half, like so. So then you've got your B, and then your lowercase b. Now these letters are designed to be written in a string. You shouldn't have to pull your pen up off of the paper to write an entire word. And so if you get proficient at it, then it should be a little bit faster than block writing. But that's all up to you. Honestly, when I'm trying to write nice cursive, I'm quite a bit slower. But it does come out a lot nicer than if I'm just a scribbling. So for instance, if I were to write my word bait here, oh man, my camera's out of focus. Come on. If I were to try to write my word bait here, I would use my lowercase b that's in my chart. I'd come up from the bottom here and just flow right in to my entire word. So there's bait. I put a little flourish on the T there. Some people would probably balk at that, and that's okay. So if you wanted to just do it traditionally, you would just write it out just like that. And some people don't start at the bottom as it's written down there on that chart. They'll start up here at the top and just make a straight line down, kind of like a block letter B, but then they'll follow it through. That darn camera. Like a so. But if you just wanted to take time and write a few words just for practice, and get to where you can write them out pretty clean, it's always going to help you. Now, the way they've got the G on this particular chart that I found, I'm not super fond of. It's kind of goofy, I think. But if you were to just write a standard block letter G, most people's going to understand what you're reading. And it's also little variations like that are a good way, you know, to put your personality to paper. As long as you can make them clear. The reason they don't teach you to put a block letter G like that is because if you don't differentiate it from your capital C, then you can't tell the difference. And so you can do either or. And honestly, this is a little more artistic, but if you're just taking standard notes, you know, it's easier to do it that way. Or some people will do the capital and then finish out their word like so. But really, that's just all up to you. But take yourself a little bit of time, you know, and write out. You want to write a birthday card for grandma, or you want to write a little sweet note for special lady, then this is a really good skill to have. You know, and if you you get good at it, then it's a skill that'll carry you out for a long time. Job applications are handwritten. Like I said, you're going to be scribbling notes at work. I know I do every day. You're going to be scribbling notes at a game table, whether you're keeping score or a game like Dungeons and Dragons where you're making up things on the fly and you got to remember them for later because somebody's going to ask, by golly. Then this is the thing to do. I know it's, like I said, I know it's archaic and I know it's not modern, but it's a skill that I think pretty much everybody should have. And I'm a little sad that schools don't hardly teach it. I know some schools do, but I know a lot of public schools don't really touch on it much anymore. They just sort of make it a blurb in the footnotes. You know, they focus more on typing, which is an important skill. Don't get me wrong. But good handwriting is an art form that most people should have. And I think it's well worth the time it takes to get good at it. So, just know I'm here for you. I'm very proud of you. I see what you're doing, and I know you're doing good. Just keep up the good work. This is Uncle Silas, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.